It was on a Friday morning that everything began to fall apart. My daughter, Clara, just 7 years old, came back from school with her big brown eyes brimming with tears. In her small hand, she held a crumpled piece of paper that seemed to carry the entire world. "Mummy, everyone in my class was invited to Luna's birthday. Except me." Those words, so simple and so raw, cut me like glass. In the following days, Clara seemed quieter than usual, and her typical childlike enthusiasm had been replaced by a silence that hurt me deeply. We tried to distract her with other activities, but the thought of being excluded gnawed at her little heart. The night before the party, she asked me softly, "Why doesn't she like me, Mummy?" If you've ever been through this, you know the pain of not having simple answers to such a difficult question. Saturday dawned with bright sunshine, as if the sky were oblivious to the sadness we felt. While helping Clara get dressed, she surprised me by saying, "Today I want to do something special, Mummy. I want to make a chocolate cake." I was intrigued but decided to support her idea. The kitchen filled with the sweet smell of chocolate and laughter, and for a moment it seemed like we were creating our own party. But there's one detail that changes everything. Clara wasn't just making a cake, she was preparing something deeper, something I only understood when I saw her decorating the cake with small colorful hearts and writing, with shaky letters, "For Luna." My heart nearly stopped. "You want to take this to the party?" I asked, trying not to reveal the lump in my throat. She nodded with a gentle smile. "I want to show her that I like her anyway." On the way to the party, I wondered how it would be received. And this is where things get interesting. When we arrived, Luna greeted us with a surprised expression, but Clara just smiled and handed over the cake. There was a moment of silence, as if the world were holding its breath. Then Luna smiled back, a genuine smile that lit up her face. "Thank you, Clara. Do you want to come in and play with us?" The rest of the day was pure joy. The children ran around, played, and shared the homemade cake that Clara had made with so much love. Something had changed there. It wasn't just about being invited to a party or not. It was about Clara's courage to extend a gesture of kindness, even when she felt left out. It's worth reflecting on that, don't you think? Often the answer to pain is to give a bit of love. That night, as I was putting Clara to bed, she hugged me tightly and said, "Today was the best day, Mummy." And I realized that the true party wasn't the one that happened in Luna's backyard, but the one Clara carried inside her, a party of generosity and forgiveness. If this story touched you, remember that small acts of love can transform the world around us. Sometimes, all we need is a little chocolate and an open heart. The next morning, the sun seemed brighter, and Clara woke up with a smile we hadn't seen in days. We went to prepare breakfast together, and I couldn't help but think about how a simple gesture had changed everything. While Clara set the table, she commented, with the wisdom that only children possess, "Mummy, sometimes when we give a gift, we receive a gift in return." I agreed with her, realizing that, at that moment, we were not just mother and daughter, but also two people learning together about life. During breakfast, Clara enthusiastically shared about the new friends she had made at the party. "You know, now Luna wants to come here and play next Saturday," she said, her eyes shining with joy. I knew that this invitation meant much more than an afternoon of play. It was a symbol of acceptance, that Clara had found her place, not just at the party, but in the hearts of her peers. That week, Clara seemed like a new child. Her enthusiasm returned, and she talked tirelessly about the things she had learned at school. It was as if a new chapter had begun in her life, a chapter where kindness and understanding played a central role. "Mum, do you know what the teacher said today? That we should always try to understand others before judging." I think that's what happened with Luna and me. As Clara spoke, I thought about how many times in adulthood we forget this simple lesson. How many times do we fail to reach out for fear of rejection? This experience with Clara made me reflect on how many opportunities we miss to turn difficult situations into moments of learning and growth. It makes us think, doesn't it? That Saturday, Luna came to visit us. The two girls played in the garden, laughed, and ran as if they had been friends for years. As I watched them, I realized that Clara had gained more than a friend. She had gained a new confidence in herself, a confidence that only comes when we choose love over resentment. "Mum, can I make another cake for Luna?" Clara asked later, and I couldn't help but smile. As the girls mixed the ingredients in the kitchen, Luna turned to Clara and said, "Thank you for bringing the cake that time. No one has ever done that for me before." Clara smiled, and at that moment, I understood that the act of kindness had created a genuine connection between them. A friendship that, who knows, could last a lifetime. At the end of the day, when Luna left, Clara was exhausted but happy. "Today was a good day, Mum. Do you think we can do this again?" she asked, already in her pajamas, ready for bed. I agreed, knowing that what she really wanted to keep this new friendship alive and the lessons she had learned. As Clara fell asleep, I thought about how life offers us moments of choice, moments where we can decide between bitterness and generosity, and how often it is a child who teaches us the right path to follow. If you have ever experienced something similar, you know what I'm talking about. On Monday, Clara returned to school, eager to meet her new friends. I left her at the entrance, and as she ran to join the other children, I felt a deep gratitude. Gratitude for Clara, for her open heart, and for reminding me of the transformative power of love. And also for teaching me that sometimes the best response to pain is a simple act of kindness. This experience made me reflect on how many times we fail to act out of fear or insecurity. And it reminded me that often, generosity is the key to opening doors that seemed closed. It's worth reflecting on that, don't you think? As I drove back home, I found myself thinking about other ways to apply this lesson in my own life. Maybe it was time for me to extend a hand to someone who needed a gesture of friendship. After all, kindness has a multiplying effect, and we never know the impact a kind act can have on someone's life. If this story touched you, remember, love and empathy are powerful forces. Sometimes all we need is to take the first step, and who knows, we might find new friendships and learning along the way. Small gestures can transform the world around us in ways we can't even imagine. That Tuesday morning, while we were having breakfast, Clara surprised me with another idea. "Mummy, what if we have our own party to thank everyone who helps us?" The simplicity and depth of that proposal, they made me smile. Had we ever stopped to appreciate the small kindnesses of daily life? Maybe it was the right time for that. We spent the week planning our little celebration. Clara made a list of people she wanted to invite. The teacher who always encouraged her, the neighbor who lent her books, and even the mailman who always had a smile for her. "I want everyone to know how important they are to me," she explained with the seriousness that only a child can have when expressing gratitude. While we prepared everything, Clara and I talked about what it really means to thank someone. "Mum, it's not just saying thank you, right? It's more than that." She was right. Gratitude is a feeling that overflows into actions, reflected in the small gestures of everyday life. Many people feel exactly that, but sometimes we forget to express it. The afternoon of the party arrived. Our small backyard was decorated with colorful ribbons and balloons that Clara had chosen. People started arriving, and soon the house was filled with laughter and lively conversations. Clara ran from one side to the other, giving out hugs and thank yous. Watching from a distance, I felt my heart warm to see how happy she was. But there was one more surprise reserved for that day. Among the guests, Luna appeared accompanied by her mother. Clara ran to welcome them, and Luna brought her a small gift. "It's a recipe book, Clara," Luna said, "so we can bake many cakes together." Clara was delighted, and at that moment, I realized that their friendship had strengthened in a special way. While the children played, I sat next to Luna's mother. She told me how her daughter had changed since the day of the cake. She talks about Clara all the time, and how she learned the importance of being kind. If you have ever experienced something similar, you know how gratifying it is to see a friendship blossom in such a genuine way. While the party continued, I observed how those simple and honest moments of connection created an atmosphere of joy and harmony. Gratitude had made its way into every corner of our backyard, uniting people who might never have met otherwise. It's curious how sometimes life surprises us when we least expect it. At the end of the day, with the sun setting, the guests began to say their goodbyes. Clara was exhausted, but radiant. While we were cleaning up the mess, she said to me, "Mum, can we do this every year?" I laughed, agreeing, and realized that this little gratitude party had become a new tradition for us. That night, while Clara slept, I reflected on all that we had experienced over the past few weeks. She taught me that generosity and gratitude are not just words, but actions that have the power to transform lives. And often, it is the youngest among us who show us the way. The next day, Clara returned to school with a gift for the teacher, a small potted plant. "So that you remember you always make us grow," she explained. The teacher was visibly moved, and I realized that Clara was carrying forward what she had learned, the importance of expressing gratitude in simple yet meaningful ways. And so, our life continued, marked by this new perspective. Clara continued to find small ways to thank and show affection, and I also began to apply this learning in my life. Every day, we sought ways to be more present and generous, with ourselves and with those around us. If this story touched you, remember that it is never too late to start cultivating gratitude. Small gestures, like a shared cake or a simple thank you, can create waves of positivity and connection that spread far beyond where we imagine. It's worth reflecting on this, don't you think? After all, gratitude is a seed that, when planted with love, blooms in all directions. The following Friday, something curious happened. Clara came back from school with a sparkle in her eyes that I hadn't seen in a long time. "Mum, the teacher asked me to talk about our gratitude party in today's class." She seemed excited, and I could feel that something special was about to happen. Many of my friends were excited and said they want to do the same at their homes. And this is where things get interesting. Clara's idea was spreading like a small spark that starts to light up places everywhere. It wasn't just a party or a cake, it was a new way to look at relationships and the importance of valuing those around us. Perhaps you have already felt inspired by such an idea, one that grows and takes on a life of its own. That afternoon, while Clara was doing her homework, I received a message from one of the mothers at school. She asked if Clara could come to her house on Saturday to help her daughter organize a mini gratitude party. Clara was radiant with the invitation and, of course, gladly accepted. "We'll make lots of cakes, Mum," she said, already planning the next adventure. On Saturday, as Clara was getting ready to leave, she carefully chose the ingredients for her special cake. "I think we can experiment with a little bit of vanilla this time," she suggested with the confidence of a little chef. I watched her, admiring her determination and how much she had grown emotionally in the past few weeks. At her friend's house, Clara was welcomed with hugs and enthusiasm. The two girls spent the afternoon decorating, creating thank you cards, and talking about what it really meant to be grateful. When I went to pick her up, I found a criaco do livro io significado da gratidão em nossas vidas. Ela estava radiante, e sua apresentação foi recebida com aplausos e entusiasmo. E uma sensação incrivelmente orgulhosa de ver minha filha compartilhar algo tão significativo como os outros. O impacto do projeto foi profundo. As crianças da escola começaram a discutir mais sobre gratidão, e muitos de seus amigos seguiram o exemplo de Clara, iniciando seus próprios projetos centrados em bondade e a prática. Foi inspirador testemunhar como uma simples ideia podia se espalhar e criar uma onda de positividade. Clara e eu continuamos a trabalhar juntas em novas ideias para promover gratitude e bondade na nossa comunidade. O livro de receitas de bolos de gratitude ao se tornou símbolo do poder dessas pequenas equas e de como elas podem transformar vidas. Através desse projeto, aprendemos que, mesmo nos momentos difíceis, há sempre razões para sermos gratos e maneiras de expressar nossa gratidão aos outros. Foi uma jornada que nos ainda mais nos ensinou a importância de valorizar cada momento de bondade e amor que compartilhamos. Espero que outros possam se inspirar na nossa história e encontrar suas próprias formas de espalhar gratitude ao pelo mundo. Her experience and how gratitude had transformed her life. I learned that gratitude is like a warm hug we give to people, she explained with the simplicity and wisdom that only a child possesses. The event was a success, and many students and teachers left inspired to incorporate more gratitude into their lives. Clara received many compliments, and more importantly, she felt part of something bigger, something that was helping to create a more positive and welcoming environment at school. That night, as Clara slept, I thought about how life is full of surprises. Who would have thought that a simple chocolate cake could trigger such a series of meaningful events? Clara taught me that kindness and gratitude are powerful forces, capable of creating real and lasting change, and that often it all starts with a small gesture. So if this story touched you, remember that gratitude doesn't need grand gestures to be felt or expressed. It lives in the details, in the small actions of daily life, and has the power to transform the world around us. It's worth reflecting on, don't you think? And so our journey of gratitude continues day after day, gesture after gesture, cake after cake. Weeks went by and Clara's cookbook idea began to take on a life of its own. The school, enchanted by the initiative, decided to support the project by organizing a book fair where Clara could present her creation. It was a Saturday morning, and the auditorium was full of parents, students, and teachers, all curious to see the result of the work that Clara and I had done with so much love. Clara, her eyes shining with excitement, stepped onto the stage to talk about the book. When we make a gratitude cake, we're not just mixing ingredients. We're putting a little bit of our heart into each slice, she explained, with the serenity of someone who understands the value of what she was doing. Many people feel exactly that, but sometimes we need a reminder, don't we? While Clara was speaking, I felt immense pride. She wasn't just sharing recipes, but also teaching a valuable lesson about love and connection. By the end, many came up to us, congratulating and sharing their own stories of gratitude. "This book is more than just recipes," said a teacher, emotionally. "It's a true inspiration. And this is where things get even more interesting." Clara's story began to spread beyond the school walls. A few weeks later, we received an unexpected invitation from a small local publisher. They were interested in publishing Clara's cookbook, believing that her message could touch even more hearts. It was a dream we had never imagined, but it was becoming reality. During the meetings with the publisher, Clara proved to be a true professional. She wanted to ensure that each recipe and story maintained its essence, that the book was an authentic reflection of her gratitude journey. "Mum, it's important that everyone feels how much this means to me," she insisted, with the maturity of someone who knows what they want. The publishing process was exciting and challenging. Clara and I spent hours reviewing texts, choosing photos, and deciding on the final details. Along the way, we received support and encouragement from friends and family who were eager to see the final result. "You are changing the world, Clara," my mother said, with a proud smile. Finally, the big day arrived. The book launch was held at a local bookstore, decorated with balloons and colorful ribbons, just as Clara had imagined. The environment was filled with friends, family, and even some people who were inspired by Clara's story and came from far away to meet her. It was a moment of celebration, not just of the book, but also of the transformative power of gratitude. Clara was radiant to see so many people gathered to support her cause. During the autograph session, she listened attentively to the gratitude stories the readers shared, each one unique and special. "Mum, I think I learned as much as they did," she commented with a sincere smile. And I knew it was true. Each interaction, each act of kindness, enriched her understanding of the world. The book was a success, but more importantly, it was the impact it had on people. We received letters and messages from readers who were touched by Clara's simple and profound message. Many began to organize their own gratitude parties, inspired by the idea that small gestures can make a big difference. And so, Clara's journey continued, filled with new experiences and learnings. She became a little ambassador of gratitude, taking her enthusiasm and joy everywhere she went. With each new encounter, she spread the seeds of love and empathy, reminding everyone that true wealth lies in the connections we create. As I reflected on all that we had lived through, I realized that Clara had given me an invaluable gift. She taught me to look at life with new eyes, to appreciate each moment, and to understand that gratitude is a powerful force that can transform our world from the inside out. It's worth reflecting on that, don't you think? And so, our gratitude story continues, one chapter at a time, with Clara guiding us along the path of love and generosity. If you've experienced something similar, you know how transformative it can be. And if you haven't yet, perhaps this story can inspire you to take the first step. After all, it's never too late to start cultivating gratitude in our lives. The next morning, after the book launch, Clara woke up with renewed energy. "Mum, what are we going to do today?" she asked while we were having breakfast. She was full of ideas, and I knew her mind was buzzing with new projects. "We can start planning another gratitude party, but this time I want it to be even bigger." The excitement in her voice was contagious, and I couldn't help but smile at the thought of the possibilities. As Clara talked about her ideas, I realized how much this journey had transformed her. She was no longer just a child who had learned the importance of gratitude. She had become a leader in her community, inspiring others to follow her example. "Mum, do you think we can have a gratitude fair at school?" she asked, her eyes shining. "We could have several booths, each with a different activity to show how we can be grateful." The idea was ambitious, but I knew that with the right support we could make it happen. In the following days, Clara began talking to her teachers and classmates, explaining the concept of the fair and how it could unite the school in an act of celebration and recognition. A lot of people feel exactly that, but sometimes they don't know how to express it, she said, with the wisdom that only practice can bring. The school embraced the idea with enthusiasm. Preparations started quickly, with students and teachers collaborating to create an event that reflected the essence of gratitude. Clara was at the center of everything, coordinating the activities and ensuring that every detail was perfect. "Mum, I think this is going to be amazing," she would say between one meeting and another. On the day of the fair, the weather was perfect. The schoolyard had transformed into a vibrant festival of colors and laughter. There were food booths, games, art workshops, and even a space dedicated to sharing stories of gratitude. Clara was everywhere at once, ensuring everything went smoothly. "Have you ever thought about it before, Mum?" she asked as we passed one of the stalls. "How an idea can grow and become something so big." While watching Clara, I realized that the Gratitude Fair was more than just a school event. It was a tangible manifestation of the power that small acts of kindness can have when they multiply. "It's as if each person here is bringing a little piece of gratitude," Clara said, "and together we've created something truly special." The fair was a success, attracting not only students and teachers, but also parents and local community members. Everyone who passed through seemed to leave a little lighter, a little more inspired to carry Clara's message forward. "Mum, I think we did it," Clara said with a satisfied smile as the event came to an end. That night, while Clara slept, I reflected on the journey we had taken together. From the day Clara decided to bake a cake for Luna, to the launch of her book and the realization of the fair. Each step was a reminder of the transformative power of gratitude and kindness. It's worth reflecting on, I thought, knowing that this experience had changed our lives forever. Clara continued to spread her message of gratitude, but now with a new goal in mind. "Mum, I want other children to have the chance to do something like this too," she said, full of determination. And so, we began to plan a program to bring the idea of gratitude fairs to other schools in the region. Clara was determined to plant the seed of gratitude wherever she could. Every school we visited welcomed us with open arms, delighted by the simplicity and depth of Clara's project. "It's amazing to see how such a simple idea can have such a big impact," commented a principal. "Showed us the space where the next fair would be held. Does this remind you of any situation, Mum?" Clara asked with a mischievous smile. And indeed, it reminded me of the many times I underestimated the power of a simple gesture. Clara's journey was just beginning, and I knew she would continue to spread her message of love and empathy wherever she went. She had become a true ambassador of gratitude, inspiring not just her school, but also the communities around us. "Mum, I think gratitude is like a chain," she said one night as we looked at the stars. "When we start it, we never know how far it can go. And so, under the starry sky, Clara and I dreamed of a future where gratitude was not just a word, but a daily practice, a way of living and connecting with the world around us. If this story touched you, maybe it's time to start your own chain of gratitude. After all, we never know the impact a small gesture can have, do we?" The next morning, Clara was full of energy, eager to put her new ideas into practice. "Mum, I thought of something different," she said as we had breakfast. What if we created a gratitude club at school? We could meet every week and plan small actions to spread joy. Clara's proposal was charming, and as always, her determination was contagious. In the following days, Clara started talking to her friends about the club. The response was immediate and enthusiastic. Many children wanted to participate, excited about the idea of being part of something that not only promoted gratitude, but was also fun and engaging. "Mum, we already have more than 20 kids interested," she exclaimed, beaming. The first meeting of the club was held on a sunny afternoon in the school courtyard. The children gathered in a circle, each with an idea on the tip of their tongue. Clara, acting as a little leader, guided the conversation, encouraging everyone to share their suggestions. "We can make thank you cards for the school staff," suggested one boy, while another girl proposed a community cleanup at the local park. As the ideas flowed, it became clear that the Gratitude Club was becoming a space for creativity and collaboration. The children were not only learning about the importance of being grateful, but also developing leadership and teamwork skills. "Have you ever been through something like this?" Clara asked me later when we were at home, and I smiled, remembering how collaborative projects always bring out the best in us. As the months went by, the Gratitude Club flourished. The children engaged in various activities, from organizing donation drives to planting flowers in the school garden. Each project was an opportunity for learning and growth, both for Clara and her friends. "Mum, it's amazing to see how everyone is so motivated," said Clara, with a sparkle in her eyes. But there was one more surprise in store for Clara. In recognition of the club's positive impact, the school decided to enter the group in a local community initiatives contest. Clara was ecstatic about the news, and the idea of sharing their achievements with an even larger audience left her excited. "Mum, imagine if we win. We could do even more amazing things," she said, dreaming big. On the night before the contest presentation, Clara was nervous but also excited. "What if they don't like our ideas?" she asked, with genuine concern. "A lot of people feel exactly that way, Clara," I said, trying to reassure her. "But the important thing is that you are making a difference. And that is already a victory." The day of the contest arrived, and Clara, along with her friends from the club, stepped onto the stage to present their initiatives. They spoke with passion and conviction, sharing stories of how their actions had impacted the community. The audience listened intently, and at the end, they applauded warmly. Clara was radiant, knowing that her effort had been recognized. To everyone's surprise, the Gratitude Club was awarded first place. Clara and her friends were ecstatic, incredulous at the news. "Mum, we did it!" she exclaimed, running to hug me. The victory was a testament to the power that gratitude and collaboration can have when cultivated with love and dedication. As we headed home, Clara reflected on what it all meant. "Mum, I think we learned that gratitude is like planting seeds," she said thoughtfully. "We may not see the growth immediately, but with care and patience, it blooms." I agreed, moved by the depth of her words. In the following days, the Gratitude Club continued to inspire other children and schools to adopt similar initiatives. Clara was more motivated than ever to expand her project, spreading the message of gratitude to even more places. "Mum, let's visit other schools and help start more gratitude clubs," she suggested, full of enthusiasm. And so Clara's journey continued, full of new challenges and achievements. Every step she took was a reminder that even the smallest acts of kindness can have a lasting impact. If this story touched you, perhaps it's time for you to plant your seeds of gratitude as well. After all, we never know how far they can go. The next morning, after winning the contest, Clara was full of energy and ideas. "Mum, now that we've won, we can use the prize to do something really special," she said as we had breakfast. Clara was determined to use the recognition that the Gratitude Club had received, to expand its activities and inspire even more people. In the days that followed, Clara and her friends gathered to discuss the next steps. "We can create a community garden," suggested one of the children, "where everyone can plant their own gratitude flowers." The idea was met with enthusiasm, and soon they were all planning how to transform a piece of the school's land into a vibrant and welcoming space. While working on the garden project, each child had the opportunity to plant something that represented their own experiences of gratitude. Clara chose daisies, saying that they always made her think of happy moments. Have you ever thought about how much a flower can represent? she asked as she covered the seeds with soil. The simplicity of the gesture was powerful, and each plant became a living metaphor for the journey they had started together. As the garden took shape, the entire school began to get involved. Parents, teachers, and even neighbors came together to help, bringing seedlings, tools, and their own stories of gratitude. "Mum, it's amazing to see how everyone wants to be a part of this," Clara commented, amazed at the community's response. But there was something more that Clara wanted to do. "Mum, what if we created a gratitude mural at school?" she suggested, her eyes shining with enthusiasm. The idea was simple: a space where anyone could write a message of thanks or share a meaningful experience. "It would be like a constant reminder of everything we have to be grateful for," Clara explained. The mural was an immediate success. Within a few days, it was filled with messages of love and gratitude, each one a small window into the heart of the person who wrote it. "Does this remind you of any situation?" Clara asked me one day while we were reading the messages together. And indeed, it reminded me of the many times when a simple thank you made all the difference. As time went by, Clara's Gratitude Club began to attract attention from outside the school. Local journalists became curious about the story, and soon Clara was being interviewed about her initiatives. "How did you start all this?" they asked her, and Clara, with the wisdom of someone who had lived through every step, replied, "It all started with a chocolate cake and a desire to show love." Clara's story touched many people, and soon other schools were reaching out, wanting to start their own gratitude clubs. Clara and her friends were more than happy to share their experiences and help plant new seeds of kindness. "Mum, it's amazing how something so simple can grow so much," reflected Clara, amazed at the impact of her actions. As the year progressed, the garden blossomed. The mural filled with messages, and the Gratitude Club became an integral part of school life. Clara was radiant, knowing that she had helped create something lasting and meaningful. "Mum, I think we've found a way to make a difference," she said with a satisfied smile. That night, while Clara slept, I reflected on the journey we had taken together. From the first chocolate cake to the gratitude fairs, and now the garden. Each step was a confirmation of the power of love and empathy. It's worth reflecting on this, I thought, knowing that Clara had taught me an invaluable lesson about the importance of small gestures. The next day, Clara woke up full of new ideas. "Mum, what do you think about taking a gratitude walk?" she suggested while we were having breakfast. The idea was simple: a walk through the community where the children could distribute flowers from the garden and messages from the board, spreading gratitude wherever they went. The gratitude walk was an exciting event. Clara and her friends set off with baskets full of flowers and cards, ready to share their message with everyone they met. Have you ever experienced this? Clara asked a lady who received a flower, and the lady smiled, thankful for being remembered. As the walk continued, Clara reflected on everything they had achieved. "Mum, I think gratitude is like a chain," she said, echoing her earlier words. "We never know how far it will go, but we know it will always find a way." When the walk ended, Clara was exhausted but happy. "Mum, can we do this again?" she asked, already thinking about new projects. I laughed, knowing that her gratitude journey was just beginning and that there were many more seeds to be planted. If this story touched you, remember that gratitude is a powerful force, capable of creating connections and transforming lives. Small gestures, like a flower or a kind word, can have a profound impact. It's worth reflecting on this, don't you think? After all, gratitude is a continuous journey, and every step we take brings us closer to a kinder and more connected world. Who knows how far this chain of love can take us? Before you leave, do two things now. Subscribe to the channel and activate the bell to receive the next messages. And share this video with someone who needs to hear this today. To continue, watch the next video. It's already in the cards and also in the description.